Hello and welcome to the new session of C file handling, and today's topic is command line argument. It is one of the most complex and interesting topic of C file handling, and your continuous focus and patience will lead you to the conclusion and you will be able to understand the concept in totality. So let's move to the topic. Command line arguments. The topics covered in today's session are understanding command line execution, just like DOS, basics of command line file handling in C, means how we have to handle this command line arguments in programs developed in C, and to explain such concepts practically, three such examples are there. Copy any file in computer just like DOS command or Linux command, rename any file in your computer just like DOS or Linux command, and convert every lowercase letter of a file to uppercase letter using a DOS command behavior. To discuss such topic, the resources utilized in this session are Let Us See by Yashwant Kanitkar, Programming in NCC by E. Balagurusamy, Programming in C, A Practical Approach by Ajay Mittal, and some content from Wikipedia. Understand the DOS Linux command prompt. Before going into detail, understand the DOS Linux command prompt. Those who have exposure of DOS commands, then you may please skip this few minutes of the session. For rest of all, I am going to explain what DOS command means, where I have to execute those commands, and if those commands are executing in that way, what is the demand of today's program to develop a particular solution in which particular format. So let's move to DOS prompt. Open a DOS prompt by using run cmd command. Here it is. Let's move to one folder called sample. Check whether there is something or not. Initially it is empty, only current directory and parent directory are showing. So let's create one file having some content in that with the help of Notepad. Notepad sample1.txt. As it is blank, I am developing some content to it so that it will be utilized or checked in future programs. So this file is created. Now save it. Check whether it is here or not. See, earlier it was having nothing. Now it is having one file sample1.txt with 266 bytes. Now, what is copy command? Copy command is a DOS command where I use copy as a command name, then source file. Here my source file is text1.txt and target file is sample2.txt. So it will copy all the content of sample1 to sample2. See, one file copied. Now check it again with the help of directory. See, I have two such files. One is sample1.txt, another is sample2.txt. If you want to check the content of it, use type command, type sample2.txt. Here it is. All the content mentioned in type sample1 is being reflected with the help of sample2.txt. So this is a DOS command kind of thing what we have to develop. Means this copy. Let's clear the screen. We will use this line in future descriptions. Now come back to the presentation part. So you have learned what actually commands means in DOS or Linux. Now what are the fundamentals to develop such command line arguments with the help of C programs? So command line arguments are given after the name of a program in command line operating system, just like DOS or Linux, and are passed into the program from the operating system. Means need not to be run from this IDE. They have to be run from the command prompt itself. These programs are executed from command prompt directly. The main function in C language can accept two arguments. First argument is an integer value that specifies number of command line arguments. These command line arguments in counting are reflected by argc. Arg means argument and C means count, argument count. And the another one is the second argument is a full list of all the command lines arguments called argument vector, argv, or arg means argument and v means vector. This holds the actual name of that particular command argument. So in totality, what is the actual syntax of main? It will be look like that. Integer main having two arguments, integer type argument character and pointer to a character array, argv array. Let's have a deeper look into it. For a reference, I have mentioned main syntax over here. The integer argc specifies number of arguments passed into the program from the command line, including the name of program. Let's check what I am trying to say. Okay, here it is. Read it once again. The integer arguments argc specifies number of arguments passed into the program from the command line, including the name of program. So this is my command, copy sample1.txt sample2.txt. So how many arguments are there in this particular statement? 1, 2, 3. Itself program name is also an argument. One program argument, second source file, and third target file. So in this way, in this particular example, 3 arguments are there in count. The array of character pointers argv contains the list of all the arguments. Always argv is the name of program or an empty string. If the name is not available, argv1 to argc-1 specifies command line arguments. What this means? Let us check. Say, in our example, we have 3 such arguments. This is first, this is second, and this is third. This is my argv0. This is my argv1, and this is my ARGV2. This is actually a target where I have to copy. This is my source file from where I have to copy content, and this is my program name or say command name. So these three are the arguments. So you can see that 1, 2 and 3 are in count, and 0, 1 and 2 are respectively mentioned as program or command name, source file name and target file name. So let's move further. Just to explain in a better way, I have mentioned the whole program in this particular slide, and then we will move to our editor to execute it and then command prompt to run it. So hash include stdio.h, integer main, integer argument character, and second argument is character array pointer argv. As it is a file handling program, we have to use our file pointers. So file pointer fs means source file, file pointer ft means file target. To keep reading individual character from file and then pushing it to the target file, one character variable is declared over here as ch. Now I have to check whether the demanded number of arguments are given in my program or not. If argc not equals to 3, printf insufficient arguments and then return. What it means? See, argument characters are not equals to 3. So in this particular program, see, copy sample1.txt, sample2.txt. How many such arguments are there? 1, 2 and 3. So if those are not equals to 3, means either less than 3 or greater than 3, my program should not execute in a proper way. That is why we are checking if argc not equals to 3, printf insufficient arguments and return 1. Otherwise, I have to open a streams to my files pointer. So fs file source is equal to fopen argv1 in read mode, and similarly ft fopen argv2 in write mode. What this means? Let's again move to the command. See, argv1, this copy is argv0. What is my argv1? Source file. So I have to keep on reading my source. That is why it is mentioned in read mode. Similarly, argv2. argv is what? Where I have to write the content. That is why it is written in w mode. It has been taken in w mode. Now check whether files are openable or not. Like earlier, if file source equals to null or file target equals to null, printf unable to access the files, then return the program. Now I have to keep on reading my file, source file, till end of file is not reached. So ch is equal to fgetc fs. From where I have to read? I have to read it from my source file. Source file is in read mode. In read mode. And check whether it is end of file or not. If it is so, then break. So if ch equals to end of file, then take a break. Means go outside this while loop. If it is not end of file, then what I have to do? Whatever I have read has to be copied to the target. So I will call fputc. Fputc this is my character and I have to hold it on FT. This means this has to be written over target. That is why we used W mode for the target. End of while, this will continue till all such characters have not been copied to the target. Once it has been completed, what I have to do? I have to close my open files. A simple narration to mention: copy operation is completed, then close your source file, close your target file, and then end program, end main. And this is what you have to develop on your editor. So let's move to the editor. Just to keep the pace of this class session, I have already written that slide code on this window also. This is exactly the same. There is no difference. Actually, I had created this one, then copied it to the slide. Okay. Now save this file to a place where we have created those sample files. Let's move to the appropriate directory. This is C drive, file name, directory name sample. Here it is. Now what program name we have to write? My copy cmd .c. Save it. Here it is. Now compile it. So program has been compiled. You can see that no errors, no warning. So let's move to the command prompt once again. This is my command prompt. And let's check. Here it is. My copy command.c, my copy command.exe. My copy command.c, this has been saved over here. When I compile it, automatically my copy command cmd.exe is created. Now earlier we used this copy sample1.txt to copy sample2.txt. So let's first delete this sample2.txt. dir. So you can see that no sample2.txt is there. Now we will use our own copy command as we use the DOS copy command. And we will use our own my copy cmd, my copy cmd sample1 to sample2.txt. Let's check what happens to this. See, copy operation completed. What was the last line in our program? Copy operation completed. And this is what my program has shown. Copy operation completed. Now check whether it is there or not. Now see, wow, sample1.txt, similarly sample2.txt. Now check whether content is also there or not, something else has been happened. Then check it. Type sample2.txt. Here, this is the sample1.txt file created at DOS prompt, and all such content mentioned in that sample1 is now with sample2. Very simple. You can see that you created a DOS command. Can you believe it? Yes, you can. Now, similarly, we can modify this to a rename program. If we go to the slide, what was demanded in our second program? Rename any file in your computer. So we will develop this program with the help of the earlier one. So as a base, I will utilize this whole code for my new program. So copy it, make a new file, mention an objective of this program, rename program using command line operation. So this is a same program what we use for copy. Now only one additional statement will convert this program into a rename kind of program. So I will use that line 2 convert this copy program to rename program. What I have to write? I have to write just one. Remove. What I have to remove? The file taken as a source. What file I have taken as source? It was argv1. Copy it and now try to paste it over here. That's it. Return 0. Your job is done. Your job is done. Let's compile it. This will ask you to give a name. Say my ren program, my ren cmd. It is there. You can check that. No error, no more warning. Now try to execute this on a command prompt. See, I am repeating my sentence what I have told you earlier. For all command line based program, we need to compile it in the IDE and they have to be executed directly on the DOS prompt. No need to run them from this IDE. If you try to run, it will create an error. So clear the screen. Yes, my ren cmd command is there. Use it. My ren cmd sample sample1.txt to let copy it to sample3 sample3.txt. Now what this program has to do, this has to copy all the content of sample1 to sample3, then sample1 will be deleted from this particular directory. So it will be reflected as I have renamed sample1 from, it will reflected as I have renamed sample1 to sample3. See, 266 bytes utilized by sample1, it is currently over here just before executing my program code. Now I will try to execute it just by pressing enter key. Here, copy operation completed. Then check it again. dir directory. See, no such sample1.txt. Earlier it was sample1.txt, but now there is no sample1.txt. Earlier there was no sample3.txt, but currently there is sample3.txt. So what happened? Sample1.txt has been copied to sample3 and it has been reflected as I have renamed sample1 to sample3. Done. So you are again able to understand it. Just one single statement has converted your copy command to rename command. Now the third example was, what was the third example which we have to develop? Convert lowercase letters into upper case letters. This is what? For this program also, I will modify the first program with 2 or 3 more lines. What was the first program? Copy command. So I will again copy this content to my new file. This is over here. You can see that it is exactly the same, just under the header given by me. This is your copy command. Now I will modify its while loop to convert it into uppercase. Add these statements to the program. What I have to check? Earlier what we were doing? We were fetching one character and then putting it to the target, and in between we were checking that whether end of file is there or not. If it's not, we will move outside. Okay, we were copying such. But once I have read a character from source, I have to check whether it is lowercase or uppercase. So if is upper is lower, what is lower? CH. If CH is in lower case, then convert it to uppercase. Upper CH. And this conversion has to be copied to as CH. So your new CH will be to upper CH. This is the whole line you have to write over here, and that's it. Your program will be there. We will try to compile it. If it shows an error, then we will add a respective header file as ctype.h. Let's save it, give it some name, my conversion command. See, done. No error, no warning. Move back to the command prompt. Clear. Run the directory command. It is there. My conversion command. My conv cmd sample3.txt to sample4.txt. So what this command will do, it will read sample3.txt and convert its content to uppercase, and the final content will be stored to sample4.txt. Yes, copy operation completed. So we will first check what is inside sample3 and then what is inside sample4 type type sample3.txt. See, almost everything is in lowercase except 2 or 3 characters. Now open it for sample4.txt. Oh wow, everything is converted to uppercase. See, the earlier section, this is sample1.txt file, all in lowercase. This in sample4, this is a sample1.txt file. Everything is in uppercase. Let's move back to the slide.